not sure if we're live. I never know. I think we're live.
We are live.
Can we see? Can you see that we're live?
We are live.
Michelle, hi everyone. Here we are again. It's Wednesday. We are back on schedule. Excuse me. We're back on schedule. Goodness knows what we did last week. I have no idea what we did. I think we did 2 shows on Wednesday last week. Did we not? All right. So first of all, good morning to sorry. Gosh, I can't get used to this. Good afternoon, everyone. And first, I'd like to say hello to my spirit guide, Grey Eagle. I'm smiling because I did a consultation with some lovely people yesterday, and they were so excited because I mentioned that Grey Eagle was by my side. Oh, we're so excited he's here with us. I said, but he's always here for me, to help me and to guide me. Thank goodness he is. Anyway, here he is again. Also on the sofa, we do have, if we're very quiet, we will not disturb him, my little puppy, Cachorro, who is sound asleep, but snuggled on the sofa, so very, very contented. And we have, who else do we, oh yes, we do, we have Michelle. Actually, I was going to tell you she's sitting on the floor, but so far, she's not sitting on the floor, but I bet by the end of the show she'll be on the floor, trying to work out her hip issue. So that's us. So welcome. We do welcome your comments. We do welcome any questions that you have, and you will at the end of this show have a chance to ask as many questions as you like. Of course, when the questions dry up, so do I, because we only stay on long enough to ask the questions that we have, and pretty much that's it. So I'm telling you this now at the very beginning of this show, that, you know, if you want to ask a question, by all means feel free. I'm going to tell you first of all our little healing story, because I always try to tell at the top end of the show, I try to tell you the a story of healing. You know, healing does not necessarily mean curing. I'm not going to tell you stories of miracles where, you know, people suddenly are cured of whatever issue they have, but sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But the healing is in the holding of hands, the sharing of love. The healing can be in the peace and the harmony that we bring to a patient who's dying, who dies in a way that is much more comfortable, much more accepting, and so on. Healing comes in so many different forms. And, you know, I suppose most of us, we think of, you know, well, you're a healer, so take this tumor away. That's what we feel. But having done this now for more years than I'm going to admit to doing, and having seen so many things, miracles, certainly. I think that miracles, I believe in miracles, and I think that miracles happen to us every single day, quite frankly. What was one of my miracles this morning? One of my miracles this morning was that I was actually able to get out of bed and walk, because my back has been out for the last few days. So albeit I did hobble for a while, it took me a little bit to get my back straight, but hey, here I am and fine. So little miracles happen to all of us, and if we have a positive attitude and a good attitude, we can find those miracles, and in fact even see those miracles on a daily basis. Greater miracles, however, are again something that I've witnessed as a healer. But those greater miracles, within those greater miracles, I count the miracle of watching someone leave this earth peacefully, contentedly, and often excitedly, looking forward to the journey that is ahead of them. I always refer to the sort of the dying process, let's say, as being preparing yourself for going home. So miracles, they happen in all sorts of places. But I'm going to tell you a story today of a miracle which actually some of you may not see as a miracle at all, because the miracle is not so much in the curing or the watching someone pass into the spirit world. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to tell you the story of this incredible, I felt it was an incredible miracle of you might say, finding a needle in a haystack. Now, if you, all of you, any of us, were to literally search for a needle in a haystack, and then you would find it, well, you would find it miraculously, wouldn't you? Because how can anyone possibly find a little tiny itty bitty silver needle in amongst a massive haystack? But this story is exactly what happened. So, are you sitting comfortably? And if so, then we shall begin. I tell my grandson all good stories begin with a once upon a time, and they always end the end. So I think from now on, when I'm telling stories, we're going to do the once upon a time, even though these stories are true stories and these stories have happened to me or someone I know very well, generally speaking. So I'm going to say, once upon a time I was in Italy, not so very long ago. So the story is not going to be a long ago, but not so very long ago. I'm thinking 12 years, maybe, might have been a little bit longer than that. I was in Rome, and my publishers, Sperling and Kupfer, were just, they were an amazing publishing house. And I had the most amazing publisher, and this publishing house and the publisher want to organise all sorts of events for me whenever I came to Italy. So they'd organised this particular event in a theatre in Rome. Now, first of all, they'd booked in a smaller theatre, and then as tickets grew and more people wanted to come and buy tickets, we ended up in a large theatre that holds several thousand people. This theatre is it's like two tiers. It's got two floors. So you've got the first floor of the theatre. It's important that I describe this theatre for you so you can see what it is that I'm talking about, and how unbelievable it was that we did find that needle in that haystack, sorry, not even looking for it. I was not even looking for a needle in a haystack, but there it was. Okay, so this theatre had a very large stage, very high stage, and I was sort of on the stage looking down at my audience, except there were balconies all the way around the theatre, which were also full of people. They had cameras, they had big TV screens sort of that set in different places throughout the theatre, so that even if people upstairs couldn't see, they could see, and even the people at the back of the theatre perhaps couldn't see as clearly as they might like to. There I was on camera on the screens, and so everyone could see everything perfectly, beautifully and clearly. As is my thing to do, I hate not to be in the audience. So at some point I climbed down off of this high stage, and there was a very narrow space between the stage and the first row of seatings. So I sort of had to go sideways along the first row of seatings. And the theatre was so huge, and it had sort of, what I can't remember now, 1 or 2 aisles that you went up in order to reach the very back of the theatre. I hope I'm giving you this clear picture. And unfortunately, there was no way for me to get up to the people on the balcony, but still, you know, I had access to a lot of people. So I like to walk amongst my audience. I like to hold hands with people. I like to say hello to people. I like to get in there with my audience, and you know, they like to touch me. They like to say hello to me. They like to hold my hand. So, you know, we do all of that stuff. We're very friendly. So I get off of the stage, several thousand people. I've done many interviews with TV, with different TV companies prior to this whole thing beginning, and so I was ready to start. I was ready to get going. In my audience were a lot of, let's say, reporters, newspaper people, television people. A lot of them were there to write, almost having written it before they'd even seen me. You know how people do make up their minds about things very often. They were ready to write the piece that said, well, I don't know where everybody sees in her, but hey, didn't work for me. Did not turn out that way, I'm pleased to say. So I'm walking in front of the stage. I'm now on the floor in front of the stage, and the people on the front row reaching out to touch me, so on and so forth, and I'm smiling and nodding. And at some point in the middle of this row of people, there was a stroller and I peeked into the stroller, and there was this child, not a baby, sort of, I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 years old, maybe a little bit older. I wasn't quite sure. The thing that struck me about him was that he was sound asleep, very angelic looking, and he had this mass of black hair, black curly hair. He was the most beautiful thing. Anyway, as I paused to look at the child, the mother grabbed my hand and pulled me towards her and started speaking to me rapidly in Italian, which of course I might understand, but I don't necessarily speak it. So luckily I had my interpreter with me, beautiful, wonderful interpreter that I'd worked with many times. So this lovely lady, who obviously was the baby's mother, or the child's mother, was telling us that this child was not quite 4 years old, but hadn't spoken yet, hadn't made a sound, hadn't uttered one single word. And they'd taken him to the doctors, and they'd taken him to specialists, and they'd taken him all over the place, and nobody seemed to know what was wrong with him. So she was asking me, Rosemary, please, 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 can you give us a miracle for our child? Now, you know, it was a heartfelt request, and of course, if I had my magic wand, and if I were the one creating miracles, I'd be all over the place, clicking that wand everywhere and anywhere. Of course, I wanted to help, but as she was asking me this question, it occurred to me that we've got all of these people, thousands of people in this audience, and maybe collectively, if we joined together collectively, held hands, and we said a healing prayer, which truthfully only takes 5 or 10 minutes anyway, just maybe we could send enough energy, and maybe we could do this collective healing, and maybe the audience could be involved with us, and we might be able to send this little boy some healing. So as I'm talking to the audience, and as I'm talking to the audience, I'm walking up and down the theatre, and I go up and down the aisles, and I'm trying to connect, and I'm explaining what healing is about, and I'm explaining how important healing is, and how collective energy, and if we all held hands and we all gave that collective energy, and we all said that collective healing prayer, that maybe something would happen. Now, you think I'm going to tell you that the baby woke up and started talking, aren't you? But that's not at all what happened. Remember the needle in the haystack, right? So I have my microphone, my interpreter is walking behind me, we're going through the theatre, I'm explaining healing, and we start to walk. I start to walk, and I say we, I mean Grey Eagle and I, because remember, he's always with me. We start to walk up the centre aisle, and I'm holding, people are reaching out to touch me, I'm holding people's hands, I'm smiling and so on, and I'm talking to different people. And a good halfway up the aisle, which was, again, remember, it's a huge theatre, thousands of people here, every seat was taken, and I stopped in front of this one man who was sitting on the end of the aisle. We're now far, far away from the stage. The cameras are following, of course, and I stand before this man, and I look at him, and I say to him, would you help me to give healing to this child? And he nods, and tears come to his eyes, and he nods. He's so overwhelmed and emotional he can hardly speak. And for some reason I said to him, could you tell me why you would help me to give healing to this child? And again, I thought he wouldn't be able to speak because he was so choked up, and the tears were streaming down his face by this time. And I held his hands and I asked him again, could you please tell us why you would help me to give healing to this child? And he said into the microphone, because I am the boy's papa. The entire audience froze. How would I know? A needle in a haystack. We think that God isn't watching, don't we? We think that our loved ones in the spirit world don't always see us, or if they do see us, maybe they're not, maybe they're not paying such attention or what have you. How on earth could I, a stranger to the theatre, a stranger to Rome, I'd maybe been there twice before to do sort of promotional work, a stranger to the majority of this audience, how could I possibly have found this man in a sea of faces, in a sea of thousands of faces? How could I possibly have known? When he said, because I am the boy's papa, the audience gasped. This entire massive gasp from all of these 1,000 people. Who would not gasp? My reaction was very different. I nodded and I smiled. Not because I knew that he was the boy's papa when I stopped in front of him. I didn't know who he was. He could have been anybody at all. But who do you think knew? God knew. The spirit world knew. Gregor definitely knew. Gregor definitely guided me all the way up to the middle of this theatre, in this sea of faces, in this sea of strange faces. The one person in all of this that I would stop to talk to was the boy's papa. Now, he had deliberately separated from his wife because he didn't really want to get involved. He was happy to be there, but he was shy, didn't really want to, be to be highlighted. The mother was the one who was, I'm going to ask Rosemary, and he was the one sort of sitting back and thinking, well, we'll see. And so I took this man's hands and I asked him if he would stand up with me and hold my hand. And then I asked everyone in the audience if they could please hold hands with the person sitting next to them, to touch the person sitting perhaps in front of them. And in an audience of thousands, and there were probably, I'm going to say, at least between 3,000 and 4,000 people, maybe more, you could have heard a pin drop in that place. There wasn't a sound, not a single sound, except for the man standing in front of me who was quietly sobbing, because in his mind, he'd just been a part of a miracle. The miracle that God saw him in this sea of faces, the miracle that God pointed the finger at him in this sea of faces, the miracle that somehow I was directed to him was a miracle to him. His wife at the front was also standing up, and she was quietly sobbing too. And the entire audience joined me in the prayer that I will say to you in a few minutes. They joined me. We joined hands, and I don't think there was a single person in that audience, even those skeptical, cynical newspaper people. I don't think there was one person who didn't somehow send their healing energy, their thoughts, their loving thoughts, just anything at all to that family so that little boy would be healed. Now, I never found out if that little boy spoke or didn't speak. I suspect that as he got older, when he wanted something, he'd find his voice. But sometimes kids don't speak because there's no need, because they just point at a thing and an adult or another child or a sibling gets it for them. There's no need for them to speak. Maybe it was that, I don't know. Maybe the world is full of maybes, the world is full of ifs and buts, the world is full of possibilities. So my healing story is not so much about the little boy, but my healing story is about the parents who, in that moment of anxiety, worry and concern for their little boy, their beautiful child, were given, from every single person in that audience, they were given at least a thought, a piece of each person's energy going out to them to help them to cope, and they were given something more. They were given the knowledge that God sees them and is helping them the best way that he or she can. I think that's a great miracle story personally, and that's my story for today. Do we have any comments so far? Because we are going to go into our healing session.
Everybody loves the story. Betty said, gasped, that's stunning. Sarah, which is beautiful. Hello, and a bunch of joins.
Oh, good. All right. So remember, if you joined halfway through that story, this is recorded. We will upload it to YouTube, so you can see it on my Healing Facebook page, and you can also see it on YouTube anytime you like. We would ask you, and I don't normally say this at this point, but we would ask you to please share. There are so many people out there who, their faith is shaken perhaps, or maybe they don't have faith anymore. Maybe something happened to them that they have no faith anymore. Maybe there's somebody who never had any faith and never believes. You never know what one little story or one little word or one little message can do for people. You just never know what might help another person. So if you are watching this, and if you are loving this as I am, if you could just click on your share button, or go to your own Facebook page, or I don't know how to do it. How do people share, Michelle?
You just click the button.
You click the button.
Normally it says share, you just click the button.
So you click the button and I know how it comes up. Who do you want to share it with? And I always try and share it with all of my contacts. So if you could do that for us and share these stories and share these moments with other people, because you just never know when you might touch someone's heart with your sharing. You never know. It's so often the case that you have a friend or a family member and they seem to be fine, and I see this all the time. They seem to be fine, they seem to be coping, they seem to be okay, and we are so busy with our own lives we perhaps don't always pay as much attention to what's going on around us as we perhaps should. But you never know when you're going to be that source of inspiration or that source of hope for somebody when they feel lost, or they feel devastated, or they feel that there is a lack of hope. You never know what you're sharing or what your words may do for somebody else. So please, again, click that button and share. All right, so anybody else that...
There's actually a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Nettie asks, speaking of faith, how do you restore faith if faith was once disturbed?
Well, faith is a funny thing, because I believe that you can never really totally extinguish faith. Call it faith, belief, whatever it is. You can never extinguish. Once you've had it, it might diminish and it might almost go out. But it's amazing. I've just said, Nettie, if you share and if you tell other people or you show other people this video or all these healing videos, when you share you have there's an opportunity, a possibility of not igniting that flame because it's already ignited within you, because after all we are spiritual beings having that human experience. We may think that all our faith is gone, but we are again spiritual beings having a human experience. Hopefully, I like to add to that quote by saying, in a spiritual way. For so many of us, we try to learn and we try to explore and experience in as much of a spiritual way as we possibly can. So, just it's amazing what can not ignite the flame, but help the flame to burn brighter. It might be a kind word. It might be that you have an experience. It's different for every person. I'm trying to think of the expression. What floats your boat doesn't necessarily float another person's boat, so to speak. But everyone is different. So, whenever you can, it's not a question of ramming your beliefs down somebody else's throat. I do not believe in that at all. But sharing and, just saying to people, if you don't like it, just delete it. But I found this inspiring, and I thought you might too. So I thought I'd like to share it with everyone. So you're not forcing your opinions on anyone. Sharing is a good thing, because the person on the other end of the share can actually delete it if they really don't like it. But you never ever know when a person is going to need that kind word, that one little smile. That you never know. People look fine on the outside, but you never know what devastation is going on within them, and you never know what it is that you can do to help until you try. So, okay. All right, we don't want any more comments or questions for a moment, because while I am doing the healing session, I do like people to just not comment, if you don't mind, because there's nothing worse for me than seeing things popping up on the screen when I am doing my thing. So hold off on your questions, hold off on all of your, little, all the stuff that you do. Somebody else just popped up there. So I'm going to ask you, please hold off on doing it. Once we have done the healing session, I promise, you can comment, you can say anything you like, you can ask any questions that you'd like, but right now we are going to do our healing session. And so again, and those of you who've done this before, sit comfortably, as straight as you can, feet please firmly on the ground. Let's be grounded. Let's stay grounded while we're doing this. Hands, palms upwards, please, on your laps, in what I always refer to as in a receiving position. So that's what we're going to do. So, all right, I want you to... Michelle needs healing today. I certainly need healing for my back today, but I've got a nice cushion in my back, so I'm doing all right. It's just when I get up that I won't be doing it. I'll be hobbling.
I was just sitting the wrong way.
Are you comfortable? Please
I'm better now.
Please, Michelle, be comfortable.
I'm better now. I was going numb.
Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing worse than a numb bum. All right. So sitting comfortably. If you prefer to lie down on a bed, that's fine by me. Do whatever it is that you're comfortable in doing, but always with your hands palms upwards on your lap in a receiving position. Please sit, make sure you're comfortable, your back is comfortable, jiggle about. And we're going to start with our breathing. Okay, I want you to breathe through your solar plexus. Remember, I've shown you before how to do this for those of you who are new. The solar plexus is that area right in the middle of your I'm going to say where your waist is, I suppose, in the middle of your tummy there. But it's a little bit higher in the tummy, actually. It's that place where if you're anxious, you get butterflies in the stomach. Those butterflies are that little chakra point moving, turning slowly, creating this sensation of energy. Or if you feel if you get anxious and you start to feel nauseous, or you're excited and you start to feel nauseous, that place right in the center there is where your solar plexus chakra is. So I want you to visualize that and sort of As you breathe in, you literally pull in your tummy area very gently. There's no hurry. I don't want you to think that this is a big exercise that you're having to do. This is a nice, easy, gentle healing session. Breathe in through your solar plexus. Bring that breath up and up and up and into your lungs. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and then visualize that wonderful energy going down your arms, through your arms, down and into your hands, and perhaps even out through your fingertips. We're going to, as you do that, I'm going to say my healing prayer. Dear God, please allow us to participate with you in your healing work. Please allow us to connect with that God force, that universal God energy, that healing energy that is out there that we can all use and we can all tap into. Allow us to participate with you and with your angels in giving healing first and foremost to ourselves, but then out and to all of those people that we have on our healing list. And breathing in gently and slowly and remembering, dear God, I will to thy will. And you must always finish that prayer in that way. I will to thy will. If I had been the one determining, as I'm going through the theatre, to go here, to go there, to go everywhere, I would not have found that needle in the haystack. I would have not found that man who needed healing so desperately. I would not have been able to help that boy. But giving yourself over to God, giving yourself over to that God force and that God energy is all about putting your faith, putting your trust, even if it's only for a moment. I'm not asking you to put your faith and your trust for the whole day. By all means do that if you feel you're capable of doing that, but just in this moment in time. And we're going to breathe in again through the solar plexus, bringing it up to your chest, your lungs, letting go. As you let go, visualize that energy, all that beautiful universal healing energy that's flowing through you, flowing through your body, down your arms and out again, and down your arms and through and out through your fingertips. Eyes closed. Visualize, if you can, a blue blanket wrapped around you, soft baby blue. I like to thread my blanket with ribbons of pink. Pink is the color of love. I like to thread my blanket with pink and green. Green is the color of harmony, and of course it's blue. Blue is the universal healing color. And as we visualize, wrap that blanket around you. Let it make you feel cozy. Let it make you feel comfortable. Let it make you feel safe, because this is God's energy wrapped around you, making you safe, helping you to feel safe, embracing you in the very best way. If you can't do the blue blanket, try visualizing lying on beautiful green grass, or even on a beach, wherever you feel comfortable. The waves are crashing on the shore. Beautiful, 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 lovely feelings, really gorgeous feelings of healing and lovely energy. Blue sky above you. Again, blue is the color of healing. Blue, blue summer sky, and of course that beautiful golden sun, which is, the color of yellow, the color of gold, is that beautiful spiritual color, the color of God, the color of God's love. Let that gold, let that light, the light of God and the love of God shine down on you, and let it fill you. Hands in a receiving position. Allow that gold, allow that love, allow that beautiful healing energy to come into you, breathing in again through your solar plexus. And visualize that love, that light of God that surrounds you, that fills you up, fills you right up to the top. And when you can't be filled anymore, you feel that you're so full that you can't be filled anymore, allow it to flow through you, through your arms, through your legs, through your entire body, and out and out and out and down your arms, and again out through your fingertips. Another way to visualize is to visualize that someone. It might be someone you love who is standing with you, giving you healing, someone in the spirit world. It might be simply that you visualize that force of God, the love of God standing behind you. It might be that you visualize your angels standing with you. However, someone there, someone up there, let's say, has this enormous jug filled with this blue liquid, this gorgeous blue healing energy that is filling this jug. However, it's a never emptying jug. It's as it empties through down into your solar plexus, your chakra point, right in the center at the top of your head there. You can visualize it pouring in and slowly, slowly, slowly filling you, that jug of healing energy, that jug of blue liquid will never ever be emptied. It just keeps coming and coming, because this is the energy of love. This is the energy of healing. Let it fill you. So in whatever way is right for you, in whatever way you feel that you can visualize that works for you, fill yourself up, wrap yourself in the blanket, let the sun shine on you. Whatever way is warm and good for you, that is the thing that you must do for you to absorb this healing energy. So for one last time now, we're going to again breathe in through our solar plexus. We're going to fill our lungs. We're going to fill our entire being with the love of God, with the energy of God, with this gorgeous, beautiful blue energy. That is the healing energy which we can take into us. You can visualize me, if you like, standing behind you with my hands on you, because as I'm doing this, I'm reaching out to all of you who are reaching out to me. My energy will touch you just as your energy touches me. So my energy is powerful, it's beautiful, it's glorious. Take as much of it as you want, because I've got enough for everybody, got enough for the world if it comes to that. Just take as much as you want, because I know how to replenish it. I know how to replenish my energy. I know how to give healing to myself. So take as much of it as you want, because however much you take from me, I can replenish. God replenishes for me. And let that energy flow through you. Let it flow through your arms, out through your fingertips, breathing gently. And relax. Lovely, lovely. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Next week, we're going to talk about how we focus on particular points of the body. For instance, if you have a tumor, what do we do to help that to shrink? If you have arthritic hands or arthritic joints, what can we do to help in that way? We're going to focus on that, but baby steps, little baby steps. Many of you might find that as you're doing your healing sessions, even as you're listening to me, you might find that music in the background will help you. With my healing tapes and my CDs, I have 4 of them actually. They have music in the background. You hear me talking, but the music is very important, because the music has been chosen and created especially for this healing process. It sort of helps you to relax. It helps you to just get into the whole thing. You may use any kind of healing meditation that you like. There are some brilliant ones out there. So, or a lot of people say to me, write and say to me, oh, we use sea sounds, wave sounds, that sort of thing. Whatever works for you is right for you. So, so just, gently, even as you're listening to me, you can put on some soft music in the background there. And it does help in so many ways to relax you and helps you to let go. and it's about letting go and letting God. All right, stretch yourselves. Come on, I want you awake now. It's time for questions. It's time for comments. You can say anything you like. If you didn't like it, you say, "Oh, we don't care." Whatever you want, anything at all. But now it's time for questions. Of course, we do focus around healing in this session, but we have time. We can have as many questions as you like, and remember, once the questions stop, so do we, right, Michelle?
Yes.
So,
but we have one.
We have.
It's not quite a question; it's a comment.
But we do have lives to live, and so on. And I've got to go and feed the Christmas cakes.
Woohoo!
I've actually said Christmas cakes for the first time ever in my life. I made 2 Christmas cakes that I'm having to work on at the same time. Michelle, you have no idea. I must really like it. My daughter was so shocked. Cakes? You made cakes? Who did you make the other cake for? You never make Christmas cake. That's our Christmas cake. Well, yes, but it's good to share too. All right, over to you, my lovely. What do we have?
Lori is on.
Hi, Lori.
And she says, "Hi, Michelle. I still have the same issues with the live Facebook shows, but I wanted to let Rosemary know that I have a message from her Simon, who sends his regards and tells her that he is listening as she has advised him to."
Actually, there are at least a couple of Simons. I can, off the top of my head, think of 3. Does she mean Simon in England? I think possibly so.
Lori Bally.
Pardon?
Lori Bally.
And if so, how did you get hold of Simon, or how did he get hold of you? I'm curious. So let me know. I think it might be Simon in England. What are we getting here?
Violet says, "Hello, lovey. Expect a parcel. It's coming from Santa."
What? Say that again. What?
Violet says, "Hello, lovey. Expect a parcel. It's from Santa."
Now look, Violet, we don't do Christmas gifts. I hope you're in the package, because if you want to come, my house is yours. So please come visit me at any time you like. I'd love for you to sit on my sofa with me. So I am going to be in New York. How about coming to New York for Christmas? An exciting thing is happening to me this Christmas, by the way, apropos of nothing at all. My brother's family, my brother's wife's family, and he is the grandpa to the 2 girls, so yeah, my brother's family are coming for Christmas and spending Christmas Day with us. Yay! Possibly Christmas Eve, and who knows how long. They're here for at least a week in New York City, so that will be so exciting. We're going to have so much fun. And if anybody is wondering, am I going to be cooking for Christmas, and if so, what am I going to be cooking, the answer is actually no, I'm not going to be doing any cooking for Christmas except the Christmas cake. And we usually have a party on Boxing Day, which is sort of an open house. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, for those of you who are not sure what Boxing Day is. And Boxing Day, for those of us who are British, is we celebrate that just as much in the very same way that we celebrate Christmas Day, because Boxing Day is all a part of Christmas. It's the whole thing. Also, apropos of nothing at all, talking of Christmas, because it's only 2 weeks away. Oh gosh, it's 3 weeks away. Sorry, it's 3 weeks away. So talking of Christmas, speaking of Christmas, the first time I spent Christmas in America, I was, completely shocked. We had a lovely Christmas, had lots of guests, in the house. And I woke up on Boxing Day, I'd organised, we're having a huge party, massive party, and I'd got caterers in for part of it, but knowing me, as you all know me, I was cooking as well. And my partner at the time, so, you know, we woke up, he's getting up, he went to did a shower, got dressed. I'm looking at him, I'm saying, where are you going? He said, I'm going to work. What? It's Boxing Day. It's still Christmas. For many people in the States, Christmas is one day, possibly
maybe a day and a half,
possibly a day and a half, which is
Christmas
New Year,
Eve
Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. In England, we go from, you know, Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. No, actually, even New Year's Day. Those of us who can, celebrate the entire week. I know a lot of people can't do that, but still the festivities are going on. And it seems to me that there's so much preparation goes into, let's say, Thanksgiving for you guys also. Thanksgiving and also, you know, Christmas. So much preparation and so much to look forward to, that it seems sad to me that you don't extend the holiday. So every year in my house, or in this case in Samantha's house, because I'm spending Christmas there, we continue Christmas through the entire week and into New Year. So we're doing things for Christmas, and Boxing Day is very important to us. Violet, I'd love to know what you're doing for Christmas. We've got no room for you at the inn, but you're welcome to come if you want to stay in a hotel. We'd love to have you. Or please, when I get back here, come on. You've not visited forever. Can you please visit? That would be the best Christmas gift you could give to me.
She says that you'll love her gift, or you'll love the gift she promises, and that I'll see you in 2020. I promise XX.
I should think so. All right then. All right. Do we have anyone else, or is everybody just sitting quietly listening? Any other questions? Anything else that you want to ask? No. Are we all done and dusted? No more.
I think we're done and dusted.
No more comments. Is that it? All right. Well, I know that, as I've said, a lot of you will be getting ready for Christmas. And I know that this is the time of peace and goodwill on earth and goodwill to all men and all of that stuff. And it's wonderful that people do feel this and genuinely feel this around this holiday time. People are nicer to each other. People are smile at each other. What's the matter with you?
I think that people get so much meaner around the holidays.
They get what?
Meaner.
Really?
People get nasty around the holidays.
I'm not listening to her.
I get smacked with people's carts in the grocery store.
Oh, because people are harassed and
because everybody thinks that you just can't be nice to other people. There are some people who believe that it's good things to be nice to other people, but there's a lot of people out there who get meaner at the holidays. It's when you smile. And
Are you trying to shatter my illusions, Michelle?
No. I'm just saying that it means that the rest of us need to be nicer to the people that are mean to make them nicer too.
I have a tendency to smile no matter what the time of the year is. And I have a tendency, if somebody's in a cart and they're rushing, or even if they're not, I will say, and even if I do not have the time to muck about, I will say, go ahead, because I've got plenty of time. What I'm really saying is, please, if you feel that you've got to rush ahead, that's fine by me. So I make way for other people, but I do agree with you, Michelle. People do get frustrated. People do get anxious. So for those of us who love the holidays and like to smile, what I like to do is, if I see someone who's anxious or upset, or sometimes if I hear a mother screaming at their kids in the grocery store because she's tired, she's irritated, she's had enough and she can't deal with the kids anymore, I'll usually find a few nice, kind words to say.
Share the love.
And you know, yes, exactly. So please, please, please share the love, but don't just do it around the holidays. Just keep on keeping on doing that. I am not putting up any decorations this year, because I never do, because I'm not here, although I do have someone staying at the house, and so they could do whatever they like and put up a tree or do anything they want when they're here, so that works for me. So take your time, take a breath. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling that you're not going to get through it, if you feel that Christmas is too much for you, all of those things, take a breath, breathe, give yourself some healing.
And share the love.
And share the love. Also, if I just may say this, there are an awful lot of people who spend the holidays by themselves. I've been one of those people in the past. If you could spare a thought for your neighbours, if you could spare a turkey leg or a bit of turkey breast for the friend that you know is on their own, and I don't mean take it to them, or invite them in. You know, if we're looking at the story of Christ and the babe in the manger and all of that stuff, do you know how old that story is? You listen to my stories all the time. Do you know how old the story is of Christ in the manger? It's, I don't know how many centuries old, and yet it's still as fresh, and we still tell our children. It's still as powerful today as it was all of those hundreds and whatever years ago. So in that stable, the wise men went in and all of that, and this person went in and that person went in. Nobody said, no, you're not welcome. Nobody said you can't come in. Everybody's welcome. In God's house, everybody's welcome. In God's heart, everybody is welcome. And in my heart, everybody's welcome. I mean, my house is an open house. Michelle, I know your house is an open house.
Always.
So, you know, if you could just spare a thought for all of those people who you've not even thought about whether they're going to be on their own or not, or you've not even thought of if they're having a distressing time or whatever. If you could spare a thought for all of those people. Also, the Salvation Army is truly a salvation to so many people. You'll see them outside ringing their bells and all the rest of it. I always put something in the pot. If you can afford it, think about them and put it in the pot, because they do so much for so many people. I get it if you can't afford it. I get it if you give to this, that and the other charity. I get it. All I'm mentioning is, if you can afford to spare a penny or 2 pennies, most of us can afford to do that. If you can afford to spare, if you're watching this, it means you've got a TV or a computer or something, so you can spare something.
To give back.
You can spare a few pennies. So, you know, just in one way or another, if you could think about that, that would be great. And also, as you go past people who you see are anxious, or you go past people who you see are sick, or go past somebody who's in a wheelchair probably struggling, what you can give more than anything else is you can give your thoughts, and you can give a little prayer. You can just say to God as you go past that person, dear God, please help them, or can we just send them a little healing? Think about that, because every day and every way you can share the miracle of healing, and you can share the miracle of love. And that's the end of that, and I'm done, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want to know more, if you would like healing, please email me, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. If you want a consultation, again the same, email me, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com, for anything at all. If you would like to be on my mailing list, you must request that you are added to the mailing list. And whatever it is, whether it's healing, whether it's the mailing list, whether it's a consultation, or whether you just have a question, whatever it is, if you could put it in the subject line so that Michelle can deal with it nicely, quickly and easily, that would be tremendous. We would love it if you would do that. So any questions, if you want to know more about my new book, A Walk in the Clouds, again, any questions, anything that you've got there. And don't forget again, please, will you share. And if you're if you go on YouTube or you watch my YouTube channel, which is, it's great, that we'll be having a couple more kitchen things going on. But again, if you go on YouTube, if you subscribe, that would be great. So if you go to YouTube, subscribe. If you are on Facebook, share. Just remember, one little tiny thought, one little pulse of energy goes out into the universe. Please make your thoughts count. Please make that energy count. Going back to our story, how was it possible to find the needle in the haystack? How was it possible in a sea of thousands of faces for me to come across this man right smack in the middle of the theatre? For me to ask this one question of this one man: would you like to help me to give healing to this boy? And why would you like to help to give healing to this boy? I will always remember his answer. It stays in my heart because I am the boy's papa. God finds us no matter how lost we feel, no matter where we are, no matter how much we think that we are buried under the haystack and nobody notices us. God will find us, I promise you that. That's it for today. Again, also if you would like healing or request healing, or you know of someone, please again email us, and please if you've got someone else you would like to share healing with, let us know in the subject line healing. And that's it for today. So please have a very, very, very blessed rest of the day. We will see some of you, maybe all of you perhaps, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we are doing our The Spirit World Sees All questions and all sorts of fun we're having there. And also let's not forget Everything is Attitude on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's it. Enjoy the rest of this week. Enjoy the rest of this day. Have a very, very blessed rest of the week and the weekend, of course. Until I see you again, that's it. And I never know, is it the top button? Yeah, here comes my big hand. There it is. Click. There. Oh, there it is. No. I got it. I get it. Don't worry, Michelle.
Is it the bottom or the top?
I don't know.
Because I know it's the top.